In this lecture, we're going to talk about setting price. Let's start by looking how your book has these chapters set up in terms of setting price. In chapter 13, they discuss the first three steps in setting price: identifying pricing objectives, estimating demand, determining cost. And then in chapter 14, they discuss selecting approximate price levels, list or quoted price, and then making special adjustments to price. Now, this is a six-step approach that your book likes to use, and the idea behind this is to have some sort of structure over the pricing topics. Two things. One, no one sets price this way. These are not the steps that people go through to set price. And secondly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to structure this a little bit differently. I'm going to structure this, and I will cover these same topics, but I'm going to cover them in a slightly different approach. And I'm going to do that now by setting up the first aspect of this, and that is what's the basic information that you need to be able to set price. So let's start with an example. A little quiz. You've just developed and patented a new type of tire. It never goes flat and it never wears out. What's the minimum pieces of information you would need to set the price for this new product? And let's assume it's a tire for a bicycle, for instance. So what would you need to set the price for this new product? What are the kinds of things that you would need to know? Well, let's think through this a second. Well, one thing I'd like to know if I'm going to set price is, if I go back to my pricing formulas, I'd like to know what the costs are. So one of the things I'd like to know is, how much does it cost me to produce this? Because costs, remember, impact profit. What else would I like to know? Well, I'd like to know something about the customers and how much demand there are for things like bicycle tires. And so I'd like to know how often people buy them and how price sensitive they are towards bicycle tires. In other words, are people willing to pay more money for bicycle tires, or do they all try to buy the cheapest bicycle tire? Third piece of information that I probably would want to know is, what's everybody else charging for bicycle tires? You know, maybe bicycle tires range in prices from $10 to $20. Those of you who ride bikes and spend a lot of time riding bikes know that price for bicycle tires can be rather wide-ranging, everything from $10 to $12 a tire to $120 a tire. So I need to know something about the competition's pricing. And then finally, I need one more piece of information, and that piece of information I need are the pricing objectives. That is, what's my goal in setting this price? Am I trying to make the most profit? Am I trying to recover my R&D costs early on? What exactly is my pricing objective? So, at the end of the day, what are the minimum pieces of information you need to be able to set price no matter what the situation is? Well, of course, these four pieces: the pricing objectives, the costs, demand estimates, or something about the customer's price sensitivity, and the competition's prices.